let's review the option on how to log into the actual customer's file through Infinity and how to read it. So first of all, you're going to go to policy search and you're going to type in the policy number. You're going to press enter. It's going to open up another tab under customer summary. And then you'll have the information of the customer, the first and last name. The policy number is going to indicate the status. In this case is active, effective date, expiration date, and then the address. Now, if you're making a payment, you're going to select click for payment option, and it's going to open up another page where you could actually go through the process of taking the payment. Which looks like this, and it gives you the option of making a payment, and it shows the amount of the payment and also the due date. Now let's log into the actual file. So if you select view policy, it's going to take you to the actual customer's file. Now before we review all the information, let's review the tabs that you're going to be most likely using. So if we review the tabs on the left side, the only ones that we would use would be endorsement. So if you need to process an actual endorsement, you would select endorsement, and then it's going to ask you what type. Is it primary, vehicle, drivers? And then you just type in family, insurance, sales, which is probably already there, and then you continue and you could process an endorsement. Auto pay, if you want to set up the policy to be auto pay for them to actually deduct the payments electronically from the customer's account, you would select the auto pay option. It kicked me out, so I'm logging back in. So auto pay, it allows you to either set up the policy to be deducted from the checking account, or to make any changes to update the actual account. Cancellation, if you press cancellation, is going to give you the option of canceling the policy. You put family insurance, which is us, we're requesting, and then the reason, let's say the customer requested for other reasons, for example, and then you could type in whatever you want. Or if you want to make a payment, you could also select payment. Let's say if you actually logged into the website, but the customer wanted to make a payment, you don't have to go back and search for the file and go back into this page. You could simply select the payment option. Now, document upload. Any documents that need to be uploaded, such as proof of residency, exclusion forms, any endorsements, any manual endorsements, or any manual corrections, or anything in general that needs to be uploaded, you will select doc upload. It takes you to this option. You select exactly the category. So for example, discount verification, this could be proof of residency. You select the option, or if not, you go to other, and you could type exclusion, for instance, or whatever it is. You go next. You select the document. All the documents are going to be saved under a folder that's going to be on your desktop. That's going to be called scanner, and then you could just go to date modified, and then whatever document it's here, you select it, and it technically uploads the document, and then you just need to reprint a confirmation. The last one will be forms. So you could also select forms, and then it gives you all the options of the most common forms that you would need. For example, an exclusion form, if you need an exclusion form. So even though I showed you how to look up the forms through the main menu, you could actually log into a file and then select forms, and it's going to give you the forms that you would probably need in case of any manual forms. So those are the tabs on the left side. So now let's go back to the primary. Let's review the tabs on the top. Now primary, technically it gives you all the information of the customer, which we'll review it in a couple seconds. Installments. So for the installments, it gives you the due date of the payment of the next payment, and it tells you the amount. Ignore the fees. This is technically already included. The only thing you would need to know is the actual invoice amount, which is 114. That's for a payment on August 12, and then September 12, it drops a couple dollars to 108. So installments, it tells you the exact monthly payment and the due date of the rest of the payments within the term. Activity, we don't use it. You go to transaction. With transactions, you could also review the payments, and it gives you a little bit of a payment history. Under cash received, those are the amounts that Infinity received and added to this policy. So 412, 149, that's a payment that was processed in April. And then 108, this payment was processed on the 17th of May. And then they made another payment of 114, June 14, and then 109, 718. And it also tells you how the payments were processed. So CC, that's credit card, and that's over the phone. So it tells you exactly how the payments were processed. EFT upload, that's technically through the agency. So that was the policy was effective and processed on April the 12th. So it gives you under transactions, it gives you a history of the payment amount, the date that it was processed, and also the method, either if it was through the phone, through the web, or within the agency. If you go to vehicle and driver's information, it gives you all the information of the vehicle, the year, make, and model, the VIN number, the zip code, the mileage, which you really don't need, and then also it gives you the information of the drivers, so vehicles and drivers. And then it gives you the information of the drivers, such as a name, date of birth, the marital status, and the gender, and the relationship to the policyholder. And also it indicates if there's any violations. If you select points and violations, they'll tell you exactly what they have. In this case, they have a chargeable accident. If it would have been a speeding ticket, it would show here. And then also their driver's license information. So if they have a license, you're going to see California and the license number. If they don't have a license, then most likely you're not going to see the California, maybe just an ID number. And it also gives you the driving experience. How many months have they been licensed? And in the bottom, it gives you the coverages of the vehicle. So comprehensive and collision, there's nothing there. They only have 15, 30, and 5, which is a basic liability for 2 cars. So it gives you all the information. It also gives you information of the lien holder. These vehicles don't have comprehensive and collision, but if they did, it would give you more information. It would give you an option to select the lien holder information. So once again, under vehicle and drivers, it gives you all the details of the drivers and all the details of the vehicles and the coverages. And also if there's any drivers that are excluded, it's going to give you that information as well. You go to additional drivers, and then it tells you the drivers that are technically excluded. So the excluded drivers don't show up on the main page, but if you select additional drivers, which is on the side, then it opens up another page with all the drivers that are excluded from the policy. Now, if you go to documents, now for documents, it allows you to reprint any documents such as a installment notice. So technically this installment notice was mailed 7/24/2019. So this is the most recent monthly payment installment notice. It also allows you to reprint anything as far as suspenses. It shows cancel pending. So this is a notice, most likely because their payment was late. So this is a notice of cancellation. It also allows you to reprint any renewal forms or declaration page. So technically all you need to do is just find the document that you're looking for under description, Deck page, if you need to reprint the deck page, it allows you to open it up by selecting the right option. And then if you go to ID cards, this option allows you to reprint the ID cards for all the vehicles. So you select the ones that you need. If you need all of them, you select all of them. If not, you select one. You go to print, and it's going to open up another page which allows you to reprint the ID cards. Letter. This is a letter of verification or a letter of experience. Sometimes if the vehicle requires some sort of notification to the lien holder, so you could print this and it gives you all the information. When was the policy processed? Even though it's called letter of verification, another term could be letter of experience. It gives you the information as far as the coverages, the vehicles, the date that the policy was effective, and the driver's information. If you go to notes, the notes section is a history of all the transactions or any notes that were added by a customer service representative of Infinity, or it gives you the history of all the payments, transactions, late fees, endorsements, any documents that were mailed. It's just technically a history of the whole policy. So whenever a customer has any issues, you would actually go through the process of reading that to see if you could determine the reason why they're in the office. Now, if you scroll down a little bit under primary, there's a claims section. If you select the claims section, it's going to give you all the claims that are within their history. So these are the claims within the policy that they've had through Infinity. And it tells you if it's open, if it's closed, if it's chargeable or not. And then also it gives you the description of how much the losses cost. So in this case, $15,000 for this accident. And then the previous one was $23,000. So that's a lot of money that was lost within these accidents. And it tells you the driver and the vehicles that were involved. Now, if you select the little check mark, it gives you more details as far as the phone number of the adjuster or the manager. So if you ever have a customer that needs assistance with a claim because they're not able to get a hold of the claim adjuster or they really don't know what to do, you go to claims, you select the accident that they're inquiring about, you go to the little plus bar, and it opens up the information. So adjuster Rick, that's a phone number, Rick's manager, which is Charles, and then the email. So you could always give them the information. And sometimes there's several adjusters that were involved. So you could always give them all the information. Obviously, this is probably the one for the $15,000 event. But always give them the information if they need it. And then you go to suspenses, which is the next tab. Suspenses technically means that there's missing information. So if you look at this suspense was mailed back in 2015, so that's an old policy. Technically, everything is linked together. This one is from 2017. So literally, for this policy, there's nothing missing. But if there's anything missing based on the date, it shows the details of it. And then auto pay. If you select auto pay, it gives you the information of the policy was set up on auto pay. Sometimes it allows you to make changes here. A fax cover sheet, you really don't use it. And change request, you really don't use it as well. Change request is technically adding roadside. You could only add roadside on the renewal of the policy. So those are all the tabs from the left tabs also to the top tabs. Those are the most important sections that you'll be using.